Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. This is a recap for July 11, 2023. Let's first take a look at what the indexes have been doing. As you can see, Russell 2000 2 day into the week is actually leading the pack here with a gain of 2.61% or a gain of 48, almost 49 points for the week. And the transportation trailing just a little bit behind at 2.45%, gaining 381 points. And the Dow Jones Industrial follows suit with a 526 point gain, or 1.5%. Then the New York Stock Exchange Composite, 225 points, or 1.44%. Then we have the S&P 500 with a 40 points gain and about a 1% gain for the week. Then the Nasdaq Composite, almost 100 points, at 0.73%. And the Nasdaq 100 is at the bottom of the list with 82 points gain, or 0.5% so far. So as you can see, it is rotating to the small cap and also into the transportation and the industrial so far for the week. Looking at the spider here on this 3-minute chart, we see that it opened with a gap up, then it came back down and tested yesterday's close, and accepted that close and then come back up and stay positive throughout the day until the last half an hour into the close. Then we got this little surge into the close and into this level close to 443. And we're going to talk about this level here. Remember last night, the video that I put out, we talk about this level, about this possible target, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later on in this video. Looking at this up-down volume, you can see that the net up-down volume was positive all session long. And even at the initial open, just a little bit of a tad of negative for a very brief period. And then it just moved up and stayed positive. And the up-down volume ratio closed at 4.5 to 1 in favor of the up volume. And here on the daily advanced decline, you see that once the market opened, there were more advancing issue than declining issue. Then it sold off a little bit, and they're still holding about 900 more advancing issue than declining issue, and pretty much stay above that 1400 level, near 1500 for the remaining of the session until near the close. Then it surged up and closed with a 1657, so 1657 more advancing issue than declining issues. And also looking at the tick, you see that the tick was quite positive at the open. And you can see there was some sell program, a few sell program throughout the day, but mostly we saw more buy program than sell program, and the cumulative tick is positive throughout the session. And here in the Nasdaq market, the Nasdaq 100, you see that it opened and kind of went negative just for a little while and then came back up. So it kind of chopped around for the first 10 minutes or so. Then it came back down and went negative. So it's more of a chop for the Nasdaq until in the late afternoon before it decided to stay above the positive territory. And then the last half an hour into the close, it surged up. And on this Nasdaq up-down volume chart here, you see the up-down volume ratio was 2.5 to 1. And we see that the net up-down volume was positive throughout the entire session. And for the Nasdaq daily advanced decline, we see a little bit weakness initially, for after the open. It came down to only a little bit about 250 more advancing issue than declining issue. Then after that initial 15 minutes, went back up and stay above that 1200 level for a while, then pretty much kind of average out in the 900 to 1000 more advancing issue than declining issue throughout the session until near the close, and we see it move up, and then we saw the close with 1216 more advancing issue than declining issues. And looking at this chart here and the cumulative tick, although we saw a lot of chop on the Nasdaq 100, went positive and negative, but see the cumulative tick is positive throughout the entire session. And also there are quite a few buy program, not that many sell program. You see only a few sell program down here. Cumulative tick and the tick kind of indicating a little bit more strength underneath the Nasdaq market than the Nasdaq 100. And that is because we have seen some weakness in the FANG stock the last couple sessions. Now let's take a look at the daily chart on the QQQ, the ETF for the Nasdaq 100. Remember from the previous video, we're talking about this little bit of a wedge here or a triangle. And we're saying that until this low is broken, then we basically is still in a higher high, higher low uptrend. So we'll be keeping an eye on it to see will we get a break above this this trend line or break below of this bottom of this wedge here for tomorrow, because I think tomorrow will break this this wedge one way or the other because of the CPI. And looking at this 60-minute chart here, remember we were talking about this came down to this zone, and right now it's trying to come up to this this zone up here. Identify a zone here, and that is basically this area here, this higher volume area, and basically looking at this price action up here at this zone. So we'll see what will come up tomorrow. If there's a positive reaction to tomorrow's CPI number, most likely we'll see this come up and tag this zone and possibly even come up to the upper range of the weekly expected move. Now, if it is negative, then we could see it come back down and tag this zone again down here at this 364 area, and then proceed down toward the lower range of the expected move. And for the SPY, the ETF for the S&P 500, you can see that it is making a higher low and a higher high. So again, we are basically still in an uptrend here on the S&P 500. So until this low is get taken out, we're looking at a possibility of tomorrow with a positive reaction to the CPI. We could put in a higher high. Or if it's a negative, then we could start making a lower low and possibly come down and take out this low, and might even come down and test this trend line. And here in this 60-minute chart here, we're talking about this coming up from this zone here and move up to this zone today, and then possibly push through and get up to this high. This is the last Friday's high, and we're saying that is a poor high. So you can see that it actually came down. And here's a trade location, because we got to push up to this zone and then pull back and then a push, right? So basically it just kind of come up and test this zone and then pull back, found some support, and then push up. So then you could put on a little bit trade, intraday trade, and target this level here. So right now we're basically looking at the possibility of coming up to this gap tomorrow if the CPI number comes out with a positive reaction and come up to this weekly expected move, this upper range at 445.44, and that would probably even push the S&P 500 up toward this 4,500 level. Now, if it's negative reaction, then we're looking for this thing to come back down and possibly get back into this zone here and see could it find support here at this level. And if it doesn't, then we're basically looking for a retracement back down to this lower range of the expected move, and which is also in confluence with this balance area here. Now let's take a look at this E-mini S&P 500 market profile. Remember last night we were talking about this poor high here from last Friday, and we're saying that we'd likely see the price to come up and possibly take out this poor high on the upside. If it decides to turn downward, then we're basically looking at the possibility of coming down to take out this poor low. So as you can see today, we did not stay down here and try to balance. We basically move up and then work a little bit here most of the session before the close, and it's starting to make a move and come up to this poor high area. And you can see that once it took out that poor high, then it got rejected and come back down a little bit. So for tomorrow, we see that it's also got some single print from today. So tomorrow we'll be looking for the possibility of coming down to fill the single print, and then maybe possibly continue to push higher. Or, if the CPI number come up positive, and we might even have a gap up, because the pre-market is probably be trading up in this area already. Then, we could have a fade and come down to fill these single print before it pushes up, or it would just kind of push up, continue to push up into these poor high and also into this naked point of control. And if we see a negative response to the CPI, then again, we basically looking at this naked point of control and this naked point of control to get tested and work itself down to these poor low and the single prints. If you find these short video to be useful and informative, smash the thumbs up to give it a like. And if you are new to this channel, click the subscribe so you won't miss any of my future video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.